Located in northwest British Columbia, the Sacred Headwaters is the origin of three of the province's top salmon-producing rivers, the Stikine, Nass, and Skeena. Not only one of the longest, the Skeena is also the second most productive salmon-bearing river in North America. In May 2010, the headwaters were declared the most endangered rivers in the province. The region received the name Sacred Headwaters as a translation from local First Nations known as the Tahltan people, who named the area Klabona. Others refer to the region as the Clapan Valley, due to the location of the Clapan tributary on the Stikine. The people who live in the area regard the waters as a critical part of their culture and heritage. Aside from its beauty, these three rivers also happen to contain some of the province's largest deposits of coal bed methane.
In 2004, Royal Dutch Shell, a global oil and gas company, was given a 400,000 hectare tenure for exploration of coal bed methane in the region. Upon receiving its tenure, Shell signed a memorandum of understanding with the Tahltan Central Council, which includes the Iskut people. After signing the memorandum, Shell commenced its work by drilling 3 test wells where they discovered the presence of coal bed methane. To extract coal bed methane, a process called hydraulic fracturing, also known as fracking, is used. To access the reserves, a wellbore is drilled through reservoir rock with multiple layers of cement and steel casing. This creates an impermeable barrier between the well and the groundwater. The well is drilled vertically until it approaches a shale zone. Once it enters the shale zone, the well begins horizontal drilling. Here, a perforating device is inserted to create small holes in the rock. Fluids comprised of water, sand, and various chemicals are then pumped down the wellbore and into the holes, creating small fractures. The fluids are then brought back up the well to reduce the pressure, allowing the methane gas to be released and brought to the surface.
During the exploratory process, 3 wells were drilled in the Sacred Headwaters. Future plans estimate the necessity to drill approximately 4,000 more in the area. It is a highly invasive process with widespread opposition. To enable the extraction, extreme modifications must be made to the landscape. The result will be a network of roads and pipelines that will interfere with the local people and wildlife. In this process, hundreds of chemicals are used. Some of these chemicals are carcinogenic, some are toxic, and some are neurotoxins. Companies are not required to disclose which chemicals will be used, despite the long-term health effects they may cause. Efforts made to recover the injected fluids are usually incomplete, leaving behind dangerous chemicals whose destination is unpredictable. Upon entering the water table, these chemicals will be found in local tap water. Reports in the U.S. have indicated residents lighting their tap water on fire due to the variety of flammable additives. Similar events are happening in Rosebud, Alberta after coal bed methane extraction. Landowners are taking their concerns to the United Nations because of inaction by government and industry. In response to the concerns of the Tahltan people, Shell has stated their commitment to best practices. These include assessing potential for ground and surface water impacts, with baseline monitoring where appropriate. Additionally, they will not discharge any resulting water in the next phase of exploration. Instead, it will be collected and removed for deep well disposal or returned back to the coal. Finally, Shell will make every effort to construct wells that will protect the aquifer.
The Sacred Headwaters is comprised of an ecosystem dependent on the abundance of fresh water. The local wildlife is comprised of grizzly bears, stone sheep, caribou, and most importantly, salmon. The Tahltan people rely on the salmon as a source of food and income. Salmon are central to the culture as reflected in their songs, artwork, and legends. They have also served as a dietary staple to both the people and grizzly bears. Historically, grizzlies have congregated in the headwaters during spawning season. Due to the interconnectedness of this ecosystem, pollution of the waters will have a cascading effect on all species. Shell is committed to completing this project in an environmentally responsible way. If this project is to proceed, they plan to use existing access roads when possible to prevent further disturbance. They will conduct environmental studies in the Clapan area on a continual basis. Well facilities will be fenced off and pipelines built underground in order to protect local wildlife. Once depleted, the developers are required by law to restore the area to its original state. Furthermore, Shell conducted wildlife studies in the area which indicated that current populations of several species, including caribou, are sustainable. Additional studies on rare plant species have been conducted to better understand and actively protect them.
Shell is committed to employing Tahltan people where possible in an effort to provide local benefits. They are working with the Tahltan to ensure the people and local companies benefit from the work. Environmental monitors were hired through the Tahltan environmental consultants to observe the work being done during the exploration project. There is hope that regional communities like Prince Rupert will benefit as well. The Tahltan people believe that if Shell in fact creates these jobs, they will only be temporary. Many of these local jobs will only last during the construction phase and then move to Shell employees. The salmon that reside in the Skeena provide $110 million annually to the local economy. Losing these salmon would result in a major dent in their economy and threaten the potential for a sustainable future.
After detecting coalbed methane, Shell attempted to drill more wells in the 3 years that followed, but were met by opposition from the local people. The Tahltan people oppose this project because the use of the sacred headwaters is highly experimental. Shell has never extracted coalbed methane from a salmon-bearing ecosystem, leaving the fragile area in a vulnerable state. To vocalize their opposition, the Iska, Tahltan, and local supporters established an educational camp located on the only access road to the sacred headwaters. This prevented further exploratory drilling by Shell. Other means of protest included parading the streets, door-to-door campaigns, and events to raise awareness. They believe development is an infringement on their constitutional title and rights to that territory.
In Premier Christy Clark's Families First agenda, she encourages the development of BC's natural gas industry by expressing support for private sector initiatives. She will focus on 2 areas: encouraging innovation in clean power generation and responsible use and development of natural gas resources found in BC.
Peter Vosser, CEO of Royal Dutch Shell, is enthusiastic about unconventional sources of natural gas as the answer to the worldwide hunger for energy. Vosser believes that the benefits outweigh the risks for this project. Conflict with local opposition led to a temporary moratorium on drilling in 2008, which was intended to last until 2010. The moratorium has been extended until 2012 for the purpose of consultation and agreement with the Tahltan, as well as further water assessments.